Starlink Mini is an amazing piece of technology. This thing is so tiny and so small, it can pretty much go anywhere. Whether I'm in my RV or I'm in my vehicle and I want to have internet on the go, or perhaps I just want to put it in my backpack, go for a hike, or spend a couple days in the backcountry in a tent, I can still do work and I can do it in some of the most beautiful places in the world. But the Starlink Mini isn't without its drawbacks. And unfortunately, one of the biggest things right now is we're not seeing a whole lot of accessories come out of Starlink themselves, in particular for the Mini. But luckily today, we're gonna test out a couple different third-party solutions that I think do a good job of filling that void. And one of those accessories is the Cuarko. Now this is an internal mount. It's super simple. It's easily applied via an adhesive suction pad. You simply sit it down, flip over the lever, that's gonna create a vacuum. Then you need to adjust it by these two different pivoting angles. Then just tighten it down via these two different knobs, and it will wedge itself against the windshield. This is a very simple, easy solution, and it remains inside your car. Now it needs to be near the windshield so it can obviously get a signal if you're going to use it on the move. But one of the things I really like about it is just how small and portable it is. It matches really nicely with the Mini. This just means that I can use it if I'm gonna, go on a trip and perhaps use it in a rental car. I can easily bring along this little mount, or if I'm going to move it, let's say to my wife's car. Now in the box, you'll get the mount itself. You'll get a couple different adhesive pads, an alcohol swab. It's super important to swab the area or the dashboard that you're going to stick it down to, and you'll get an instruction booklet. This is my favorite solution that I've seen in terms of an internal mount. Okay, but there is another mount that I really like, and this time it's for an external application. You can stick it on the outside of your van, truck, RV, whatever it is, and that is a mount by the folks at Veritas Vans. Now, Veritas Vans is a small company. I've been speaking to a couple of the folks at that company, and they are absolutely phenomenal, rad people. I highly recommend you check them out for not only some Starlink gear, but also for some van gear. They did send this over for free for my evaluation, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed. It's a very simple design. It has 3D printed plastic that just basically clamshells around it. So you have a top piece that comes over top, and then you just put them down on the corners with a couple of these stainless steel bolts. Now the exciting thing about this is you have two different options when it comes to mounting this on top of your vehicle. And that's because what they've done is they've included two different feet that you can screw in, kind of like you would think on the bottom of like a desk chair. These things screw in, and this is the suction cup. Now these suction cups are awesome. They're the best I've ever seen, if I'm honest with you, because of this on the side. Now this on the side right here just is gonna allow you to stick it on top of your car and then push these. It's gonna create a vacuum and suck this onto the top of your car. I have gone over some rough roads. I have probably traveled about 60 miles with this on top of my truck. I've had no problems. I can also switch over to the magnetic feet. Now, these are well thought out as well because they've covered them with a little bit of rubber so that when you attach it to your vehicle, it won't cause any scratching. Now, these magnets are really strong, so I would suggest possibly using the magnets if you're doing anything like overlanding or anything like that. I think this is just going to give you a bit more assurance. Not that I think these feet are bad at all, because I think they're actually some of the best I've ever used. I wish everyone would go to this method with this little lever. This is my favorite external mount because of that versatility, because of how small and easy it is to just put together. Again, wraps around here, put in some screws. Check it out in the link down below. So obviously one of the things I love about the Starlink Mini the most is the fact of how portable and lightweight it is. And that just simply means that I can take it and slip it into my backpack and hit the trails. Now there are a couple things that you need to be aware of in terms of the Starlink Mini if you're intending to do the same thing. But like all great products, sometimes its greatest strength is its greatest weakness. And the Starlink Mini, because it's so small and it doesn't draw that much power as compared to its bigger brothers, And it has an onboard router that's only Wi-Fi 5, not Wi-Fi 6. Unfortunately, the coverage area that comes out of the Starlink Mini as a standalone really isn't that great. So if you do find yourself camping in something pretty thick or underneath a pretty tough canopy, well, you might need to put your camp there, but then run the Starlink somewhere else that's into like a clearing where it can get really good signal from the satellite. But as I mentioned, because the onboard router is Wi-Fi 5 and it doesn't draw a whole lot of power, that coverage area is minimal. So you might be back in there, your Starlink over there, and you're not able to use it. So what's the solution? Well, you need to grab yourself a waterproof Ethernet cable and a little travel router. Now, this little travel router I've had for a long time. I absolutely love it. It's from iNet. This thing only runs on 5 volts. Now, this happens to be Wi-Fi 5, but remember, this is going to remain in camp. Your Ethernet cable is going to plug into the WAN and then go out to your Starlink and plug in once you put it into bypass mode. Now, they do make an upgraded model of this, and it's also 5 volts, but it's Wi-Fi 6, a bit more expensive. But if you want the best coverage, you might want to go with the upgraded model from the GL.net travel router series. You'll need a battery pack for your Starlink and a battery pack back at camp to power your router. The other piece of this equation is right here. Now, this happens to be 150 feet of waterproof Ethernet cord that is designed for the Mini. If you take a look at this plug right here, you can see that this is custom fit to go right into the Mini to make sure that it's completely waterproof. Now, this company will be linked down below as well. Great cable to have along. I can't tell you how many times that little system saved my butt. Whether I'm in a tent and I have a bunch of canopy and I have to run it somewhere to get to a clearing in order to get a signal, or I'm in an RV park where, as you know, a lot of times you don't get to pick your spot and you might not have the best coverage. Now, if you are backpacking, you probably want to consider one of the shorter cords. This thing weighs a lot at 150 foot and it takes up a lot of volume in your backpack. So maybe one of their shorter cords would be a little bit better for you. Now, if you're in an RV, I highly recommend you get this 150 foot cord because you can run it anywhere. You can even sneak on your neighbor's lot if you need to, if they have better coverage where they're at. So it's come in handy throughout this summer. That cord is pretty rad. And of course, I have used this router now for over 3 years with different types of Starlinks, and I love it. That 5 volts is phenomenal. So enough about that. Let's talk about some other accessories that I found. But in order to do that, we got to head back to the studio, and I'll see you there in a minute. If you're going to deploy any of these solutions, well, more than likely you're going to need a couple cords. And this one might look familiar to you because I've used something similar to this and even recommended something similar to this in my other videos where I go over powering your Starlink Mini by battery pack. In order to do that and many other applications, you're going to need to get yourself a cord that's capable of carrying at least 65 watts. I recommend 100 watts, and it's USB-C on one end and a barrel port on the other. But you might notice this barrel port looks a little different. See, it has these rubber flanges here. This is a proprietary plug that fits directly into your Starlink Mini. And what that's going to do is make it waterproof. So while that original cord I recommended is really great, this one's even better. The other cord you might want to consider getting is this cord right here. This one has a cigarette lighter adapter and it also has that barrel port with the rubber flanges. This one came from Veritas Vans. That's the same company that provided us with that external mounting system. Yeah, the one that has the suction cups. It's really cool with the vacuum type system and the ability to put on magnetic feet. Listen, Veritas Vans did provide stuff. I'm not paid or sponsored by them any other way, but I can say they are a small company, American-made company, and they're really cool people, so make sure you check them out. And also, if you're not getting one of their kits, they do sell this as a standalone. And I can say the quality of this cord is better than some of the other solutions that I've seen, like on Amazon. This next product I saw and I thought it was pretty cool. It is just a carrying bag, but it's got a lot of unique features and it's really protected quite nicely. It's got some rigidity to it, but it's also got some squishiness to it. One of the other things I like is just how low profile it is. It's probably the size of like an oddly shaped messenger bag or briefcase. You can carry it with the included carrying handle, or it also has a shoulder strap. You can take the shoulder strap, wear it over one shoulder, or put it over your head and wear it like a messenger bag. It's really small, really lightweight, offers a whole lot of protection, but the cool stuff is actually on the inside. If you open up this front cover, you will see there is the Starlink Mini. And one of the things to notice is on the front, protecting it, is some more waffle padding, which is quite nice. This is held by these Velcro straps. If you take this off, whoa, that was close. Anyways, back to this. This is pretty neat because you can take these off and then this flips down, and underneath here, if I can get it down, is some really cool organization. So this is where you would put the pole adapter for the Starlink Mini. This is where you would put your AC adapter, and then the cord would go down here. So I really like that it's pretty well thought out, but it's got a kind of a hard plate on the back. It is a little squishy, but I feel like I could drop this like I just did and know that wasn't on purpose. It's just me being the clumsy person I am. But this is going to be linked down below as well. Really cool bag. One of the coolest ones I've found just because of its size and level of protection. Well, there you have it. The first ever Starlink Mini Mega Accessory List Part 1. Okay, maybe I need to work on that title a little bit, but point being is I'm willing to do a follow-up series when and if I find more accessories for Starlink. You can rest assured that if they make it to film, well, they carry the Hill Phantom. And what that simply means is they've been product tested, and I stand by each and every one of these products. Now, if you're interested, all these will be linked down below. There's also some discount codes mixed in where you can take advantage of some pretty good discounts on some of these products. Also, if you use those links, they are affiliate links. It's a great way for free to show support to your creator. If you're interested in content like this, you may want to check out this video where I go over everything you need to know when it comes to powering your Starlink with a battery pack. Well, I hope you found some value in this. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. My name's Hill Phantom, and I'll see you next time.